Here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons, hoping to find we're two of a kind, watching YouTube, stupid YouTube. Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Trying something a little new, a new spot carved out here in the time of day. Going a little early today just to try it out, see how it goes. I think I did an early stream once. Oh gosh, a year or two ago. I don't remember it being bad. I remember having a good time with you guys, and it allows some of you lovely people from other parts of the world to join in. Now, I could do a really early stream if I wanted to. I don't know if I want to go that early, because I mean, I've been up for 5 hours at this point. This is the middle of my day. It's almost lunchtime. Not really, but hey, I like lunch. You can have lunch anytime. I haven't had lunch since yesterday. Dang, what is going on, you guys? Margot, how are you doing? Archmage Frey, Hiroshi the dog from Munich, welcome. And the rest of you are filing in. Hopefully we get half the world here today. There's some great comedy news, at least great to me. Kunk on Earth, which is right now just premiered this week on Netflix. An hilarious mockumentary with a style of comedy that I absolutely love, but I would never want to do because it just seems too uncomfortable to interview professionals in their field, but be as daft as possible. I can do that in my own life, right? It's doing well. It's blowing up. Everyone is becoming familiar with Philomena Kunk, which is a character that's been around the BBC areas for a long time, I guess. Just being introduced to the rest of the world, at least introduced to me here in the United States of A. So that's great news. I'm very happy that work that I enjoy is being appreciated by so many people around the world. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. A mockumentary, very much like any mockumentary, big mockumentary documentary you would watch, I don't know, on Planet Earth or whatever channels they got there. I don't know what's on cable, you guys. Discovery, I have no idea. Other big news for me in comedy is Peacock, the NBC streaming service, finally, and I check this all the time, I'm always looking for it, they finally released season 6 of the superfan episodes of The Office. These are episodes of The Office you've probably seen a million times, where they add all the extra footage that got cut out into the episode, so certain things will have a different meaning. You'll understand where certain situations come from, certain jokes, new scenes you've never seen before. So I started that last night as well. What's making you guys laugh right now besides this amazing show that's going on? Enlightened Talks, is that guitar in the middle of the rack a Gibson? No, I do not own any Gibsons. Big fan of Gibsons. The big one in the middle, that is my favorite guitar. It's just a Fender Sonoram, but it's you can plug it in, play it. It's got a tuner built in, all that great stuff. Sounds pretty decent, but it's the bane of my existence. It's been down and out for a long time now, because one of the knobs on the tuning machine, I think the third string, it looks like, maybe the fourth string, I think it's the third string, broke off, and I can't tune that string. I mean, I could go get pliers and make it work. It takes a little while. It's a pain in the butt. So this week, a few days ago, I ordered some replacement knobs, and then I got some new strings. I'm going to restring it, all that stuff. But I got some replacement knobs, and they don't fit. They're the wrong size. They're the wrong shaped hole. So now I was thinking of ordering some of the correct shaped knobs with the right hole in it. That's what she said. But looking around the interwebs, you know, it's like a $4 part but the shipping and handling is like $15. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go check out Guitar Center and see if they have any spare parts for it. But I can't do that right now. Why? Because the entire world that I know of is covered in ice. And it just got slicker last night. Ever since, Monday, we've been covered in ice here where I live. And a lot of people in the general region, everything's covered in ice. You go out there, I bit it so hard the other day. I was just trying to take out the trash. It looks like there's beautiful snow outside, but it's all ice. You won't even make a footprint in the snow because it's just giant ice. It's just an ice cube. Anyway, I was taking out the trash, just a little bag of trash. Gonna throw it in the little dumpster bin, but there was a pile of snow in front of it. You know, like a little hill of snow. I'm like, that's okay, ain't no big thing. Stepped on it. Instantly, my foot slid down right underneath me, and I hit the ground hard, right on my chest and my belly and my chi-chis. And boy, did that hurt, because I was just falling on a brick of ice, basically. But hey, I got over it. I healed up. I picked up my pride, which was stuck in the snow. Not snow, ice. What you gonna do? But hey, hopefully it melts soon, because I wouldn't mind going outside for a little bit. Get me a tuning knob. Archmage Frey say, what's making me laugh? Video titles like "Don't Be Fooled." This episode was pointless and just bad. The Last of Us episode 3 review. Yeah, that stuff is so ridiculous. Okay, if you go on, I don't know, IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, you'll see the viewers absolutely loved episode 3 of The Last of Us. So rating 1 through 10, the 10s are just way ahead, a little bit 4s, 3s, 2s, whatever. And then you go to the 1s, and it's got a big chunk of votes for a 1 as well. So it's either a 10, I mean, that's what's winning by a long shot. But then you scroll all the way down to the 1s, they didn't like the episode, and there's a big chunk there. But you know where all those votes are coming from the bigots out there, right? The people that can't see humans. They only see wieners and vaginas and political agendas and all that stuff. So you know where it's coming from. It makes it extremely obvious and right there in your face where you go, I see what's going on there. But hey, those are people that are not enjoying their lives. Here, we're enjoying our lives. We're taking back our fandoms with some positive geek vibes here at Egotastic FunTime. That is the 2023 motto, the motivation. Madam Zelda, whilst not comedy, I'm really enjoying Three Body Problem. I don't know what that is. Three body problem. Oh, why? A song they keep playing on Kunk on Earth. What, by Technotronic? God dang, the weatherman. Yeah, the weatherman, the weathermen's and women's out here, the weather people, they'll just tell you anything and everything. It's going to be every type of weather here where I live all the time, and just because they want to cover all their bases. It's going to be beautiful, it's going to be horrible, it's going to be wet, it's going to be snowy, it's going to be tornado-y, and it's going to be a beautiful day. They just run the gamut all within the same sentences. I don't know how the weather people are in your area. I know Dallas Raines in Los Angeles tries to make it look like he has something to talk about. He hardly ever has anything to talk about, but he still gets his segment every day, doesn't he? Archmage Frey says, stay safe, JP. Winter is normally pretty bad where I am, but we have... Oh, I gotta sneeze. Archmage, I'm allergic to you. I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. I'm gonna hold it. It's going back down into my lungs or wherever sneezes come from. From the head? I don't know. Is the sneeze come from the brain? I don't know. But Archmage says, stay safe. Thank you. I'm gonna try. Gets bad where you are, but we have only really bad snow one day. You've only had it one day this winter. Yeah, here too. I mean, we'll get one day of snow, but the results of that snow lasts for a few days usually. Usually 3 days. Orville Nation, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you for helping us take fandom back. Actually having a good time and enjoying people and enjoying the things that people offer us by living their lives, and so that we can watch and enjoy and learn things, hopefully. Madam Zelda, it's observations like this that make me love Egotastic FunTime. Oh, thank you so much, madam. Mark Lawrence, what is going on? Did they ever let you leave Super Nintendo Land or Super Mario Land? I don't remember if it was a Nintendo thing or a Mario thing. I kind of feel like it's a Mario thing because it's Mario everywhere, right? I didn't see much Zelda going on in the pictures that I've seen. New Yorker in Vegas. In New York City, they're like, this weekend will be a once-in-a-generation chill. This weekend will be 23-ish. 4 years ago, it was 23, below 23. So, guess the generation only covered 2 years at a time. Yeah, people can't predict things too far. I can predict things within a reasonable amount of time. But you never know what's coming. Unless you really sit down and think about it. And most people don't really sit down and think about much, do they? Only us here at Egotastic FunTime. Pranakasha talking to Mark. Hey, Mark, how is the 3D printer coming along? Ooh, 3D printer. If I had a 3D printer, I would be putting, like, you know, a little chicken goo and stuff in there and having it making me food, making me some nuggets. Now, if I can only get a 3D printer that also not only makes a nugget, but then flips it over to the fry side and fries it up for me. Bread it up a little bit, machine. I ain't your slave. Thank you, Pranakasha Productions, for that super chat, super duper ego chat. Arkmage says, I may be in the minority, but I'm a huge fan of old radio dramas. You know what? I am too. It's been a long time since I've delved into that world, but even at a young age, I used to, you know, listen to radio dramas that were from the 30s and 40s and 50s. Absolutely loved them. And not even dramas, really. They were the comedy kind. Comedy Central, before it was a channel, there was an AM station. Some people don't even know what that is, but they're still around. There's an AM station called Comedy Central, and they would just have comedy stuff all the time. And one of the things they would do in the evenings is the old radio drama / comedies, you know, My Three Sons, Father Knows Best, stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. As a kid, I would fall asleep at night listening to that stuff, and then all of a sudden it was gone. But then lo and behold, what happened? Saw a commercial for Comedy Central coming to cable, and they had comedy stuff. If they can't bring the Orville back to TV for a while, maybe the cast could do an audio drama or two. That would be so awesome if the Orville did that. A lot of them already do audio stuff for cartoons and whatnot. I think they would do an amazing job. Enlightened Talk says, I would rather have a matter synthesizer. Yeah, that would be great. And I'd make whatever I want all day long, and then I'd program it so it had no calories in it. Pranakasha to Arkmage, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh yeah. You know what the remake they did, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years ago at this point. I've been meaning to watch that again. You know, my brain is older. I have different opinions on things. I loved it when I watched it, but I think it's been long enough where I need to watch it again. Mark Lawrence, thank you so much for that super chat. Can't stay long. They call it Super Nintendo World, but it's all Mario for now. That's a good start. Hopefully they expand and add a Legend of Zelda area. Well, when it is time to expand, 100% the only thing they should be considering for that first expansion is Zelda, right? And then we're gonna go to Metroid for their Tomorrowland, for their science fiction area. We got to do some Metroid, and then that's about all I care about. Oh, maybe they probably have a Mario Kart ride or something like that, or at least they got one in the works. I mean, how could you not? That seems like a no-brainer, right? And Arkmage says, I've been listening through a bunch of X-1 show. It is an American half-hour science fiction radio drama series that was broadcast back in 1955 to 1958. Oh man, that's probably a lot of fun. That's classic sci-fi era. They were trying to make a better world and warn us of robots back then. I'm not worried about robots at all. I'm just worried about the AI. The AI has already taken over. Did you see where Google, was it Google or maybe well, Google's firing people, Twitter's firing people, everyone's firing people. I think it might be Google. No, I think it's another website where they just fired a bunch of people because they're going to have their articles written by AI, which I totally believe because I've messed around with the AI article writing, script writing programs just to test them out. Dude, they are good. They are good. You don't need people writing articles anymore. Sad, but it's true, and it's our own fault. Technology is taking over. It has been ever since newspapers came out. Twinkies. Oh, I could go for a Twinkie. Seems actually, you know what? It's morning. I'm not really into sweets in the morning. Actually, I don't eat it all in the mornings. Usually I wait until dinner time to eat anything. But I'm into the savory life when it comes to breakfasts. Or I used to be, back when I had breakfasts. Now I'm into a cup of coffee. And that's about it. Oh, they do have a Mario Kart ride, and it was fun. Oh, you know what? When it comes to a fake car ride, has anyone ever tried the Cars ride over at California Disney? Dude, that ride was amazing. It took the best of the animatronic rides, classic. Disney's known for that, been known for that forever, and combined it with an actual roller coaster type ride. Oh man, and it feels like you're going so fast. So freaking fast in this car. I don't think you're really going that fast, but it really feels like you're going fast when they decide to rip it Fast X style. Vin Diesel would be jealous, you guys. An episode I just listened to was about the dangers of a smart home. Boy, smart home now means is a whole different thing compared to what a smart home kind of used to be about, right? Smart home, it's like, oh yeah, make me a turkey, and I'll make you a turkey. Open the garage door. I want the refrigerator to be at a certain degrees, a certain amount of degrees, whatever. Sure thing, Margaret. I'll have that turkey ready for you in a jiff. Now smart homes are basically like security intelligence spying on you, right? I don't really feel like they're spying on you, but they could. And they're keeping track of everything you do. Oh, my master is now driving near a grocery store. Let's nudge them over there to buy some brand name thing. Okay. Thanks a lot, smart home. I remember going to in Tomorrowland at Disneyland. They had, that big building, that big circular building. And you go in there and they had like the homes of the future, the world of tomorrow. And they had all the technologies that can be incorporated into your home, either real or fake. I always loved going in there. Yeah, we must ban AI. We got to do something with it. In some ways it's cool, in other ways it's scary. I think we just should get AI, tamp it down a little bit and get them back to just making the robot vacuum cleaners not drive around in circles and actually map out your house and vacuum it correctly. Let's go back to that. We never even really figured that out. We just skipped straight to, computers are going to do your homework for you. Yes, I've heard that, Hiroshi. Rumor is Google have an AI that wants to have an attorney. AI, attorney at law. AI is going to be doing everything. I've already seen what AI is doing, and I'm like, damn, that is advanced and decent. decent enough. Welcome to the world of tomorrow. Oh, I miss that classic Disney stuff. I loved it. Anything hosted by Walt Disney himself was always something I was interested in. My favorite part of the Batman mask of the Phantasm movie was the Joker was living in an abandoned World of the Future theme park. That's so Joker, is it not? That's where I would live. Today I'm excited. I'm excited about doing this early show. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but one thing I'm excited about is I can just get it going, get it done at the beginning of the day when I'm fresh, before I've been beaten down by the internet. And also today, I got an exciting thing I get to do inside my home. A month or two ago, my computer chair, Jessica just threw it away. She's like, "This thing's a piece of junk. You move slightly and it creaks, so you're trying to do a live show and it creaks." So she threw it away, and we had this chair here. So she brought it in here for me to use as my computer chair temporarily. This is a great chair. It's very comfortable. It's the right height. I can type. Everything is super comfortable, but I am locked in place. So what she did, since Valentine's Day is coming up, I got an early Valentine's Day present. She bought me a computer chair. It's in a box in the walkway. I'm gonna put it together and start sitting computer style, you guys. I'm so excited. And if I put it together right, it won't creak and all that stuff, which I hate because the microphone will pick it up. Concerned onlooker, JP, love that shirt. Currently drinking my morning Joe from a Seth Trek mug. Oh, seriously, I believe you. We're Seth Trekking it today. Great minds think alike. This morning I had my coffee just because I really like the size of this mug. But this is my cup of love mug. Well, it's my wife's cup of love mug. All the mugs except for a couple are hers. I like this one because it's the right size. I don't really care for this because it's weird to hold that. Actually, if you do it right, that's actually pretty decent. So I usually just hold my mug like this if it's not too hot. I had my cup of coffee. I usually like to have a couple of cups of coffee, but I decided, nah, I've probably been having a little too much coffee the last week or so in the mornings. Don't want to get any kidney stones or anything like that. Don't get kidney stones. They'll hurt you. They'll hurt you bad. Hiroshi the dog gifted 5 Egotastic FunTime memberships. Hiroshi, on YouTube, I believe you are the very first person to use that new feature that YouTube has come out. You can now gift memberships to people. I don't think you get to choose who gets the membership. YouTube randomly assigns them. But that is awesome. It's so cool to see that actually used, and you are the first, Hiroshi. Hiroshi! So thank you very much. You gave them to Mark Termel, Von Daheim. Daheim. It could just be Dame. It could just be Dame. Zen, Thomas M, and VR and AR Dev.Studio. What's going on, VR? Archmage Frey re-signed up member for 21 months. Infected. Oh damn, I'm infected. Yes, I've changed some of the names of the memberships, not just on here but also on Patreon, to reflect a little bit more of the fandoms that I like. So we have Infected, we have what did I call the Orville one? I can't remember. There's an Orville one, there's a Ted one. There might be one more, I can't remember. I'm trying not to have too many different levels anymore because it's just too much. YouTube comes out with a feature and you're like, oh god, let's check it out, let's do it. But thank you all. Thank you, Hiroshi. Vendetta Wild, I need one of those self-heating coffee cups. The coffee always gets cold before I'm even partway finished. That happens to me, of course, sometimes. I finish my coffee pretty damn quick, so it doesn't really get too cold. But also, I don't mind cold coffee. I kind of like it. I find cold coffee, especially if you with ice, poured over ice, just a little bit of creamer. You don't need much when it's over ice. Really delicious and refreshing to me. But everybody's different. We weren't all born with the same taste buds. My wife, she likes everything super hot. Me, I like stuff medium. I like my stuff just a little bit more than warm. Though I probably should eat stuff that's really hot because I'd probably slow down a little bit. Michael Sean Carter is thanking Hiroshi. But yeah, I wouldn't mind something that kind of keeps the coffee warm-ish. I don't like things that are too hot. Like I said, my wife loves things that are crazy hot. I'll pull something out of the oven. She'll put some of it on a plate or a bowl, and then she'll put it right in the microwave to make it even hotter. Archmage to Vendetta, they also sell little mug heaters that you can set a regular mug on. It's similar to those. You melt scented wax on. Scentsy. Brand name is Scentsy. Everything else is melty. That's probably more my style right there. That's what I need, you guys. I need that. I need my computer chair to be built, which I got to do. I hate putting computer chairs together. There's too many pieces. Why can't they just send them to you already built without charging you an arm and a leg? Orville wise, there's still no news, right? And no news is good news when it comes to the Orville. But somebody, posted something about, oh man, when are they gonna renew the Orville? Everybody's posting that right now. I even post that. I mean, I mostly just have a little fun with it, just as a hey, just a reminder to have people keep wanting the Orville, because that's gonna help. Always going to help, but I don't think there's anything to worry about. But even Tom said, all right, just stay calm. Stay calm. Which again tells me that they all know something that we don't know. I really feel the Orville is coming. They just got to work out a ton of different stuff. They got to get probably every main actor probably needs a whole new contract. Of course, every few years, all shows pretty much do that. I remember all the different contract discussions with Seinfeld back in the day. You remember that? Eventually, they started paying Seinfeld. I don't know about the other actors, but I'm sure they all got bumped pretty high. They're all making like $1 million an episode. I don't know if we'll do that with the Orville. The Orville's a very expensive show. Millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. The Last of Us, the first season cost over $100 million to make. The Orville, I'm sure, is at least that. Yeah, keep the Orville coming. Anytime there's Orville news or just something I want to talk about the Orville, I'll be putting out content for the Orville, because that's always going to be my number one. I owe the Orville so much. They changed my life. I felt it appropriate to rebrand my channel to help support the Orville. But we're taking a break from that right now. Now we're going back to Egotastic FunTime. And when there's more Orville, we're going to be talking Orville all the damn time. But yeah, I owed them. I wanted to honor them and thank them for everything they did for me. I mean, they helped me build an audience. They let me be part of the promotions. They kept me updated on things. They still talk to me. It's great. 5 million per episode. See, back then I didn't understand numbers so good. But yeah, but I remember it was a big thing. But No Money G would know, wouldn't you? No Money G. Seinfeld got offered 5 million per episode to go another year. He said no. He probably didn't need it. Right? He's like, I made a ton of money. But also, Jerry Seinfeld is very, what's the word? He's very faithful to the work and very faithful to comedy. He knows when to get out and move on to another thing for the sake of the quality of the thing he's working on. He doesn't want to do something just for the money. He wants to be passionate about it. It's Jerry Seinfeld's work ethic when it comes to comedy and his feelings towards comedy is something I respect very much. Vendetta says, I'll be honest, I have missed the Egotastic FunTime theme. Yeah, I want to do something different with it. Keep the song. I don't know, maybe I'll put a little something underneath it or re-record it, but I need to get some new visuals. It's 2023. I already got an idea. It's a super easy idea, but I got to turn on the lights and whatnot, and maybe bring out the green screen, which is always tough. But it's going to be super easy to make. I just got to do it. That's the hardest part for me. Probably because I don't have a proper computer chair. But yeah, that's my favorite thing is that song. I don't even think it represents my mindset anymore, but I love the song and it does make me chuckle. I love the whole "Give me all your money." At the time, I did the whole "Give me all your money" because I was kind of making fun of YouTube culture at that point. That culture hasn't really changed from what I've seen, but I changed. I don't care about the money anymore. I need money, but I try not to care about it anymore because it's too stressful. Thank you, No Money G. Very much appreciate that super chat. So glad we were able to come together this morning and chat. If maybe I'll continue this slot because everyone else, all the other YouTubers, at least in my genre, they're all streaming at night. So why would I want to stream at night, right? Too much competition. Keep it in the mornings or the early days. At least I'm thinking about that because that's when I'm up. Usually as soon as 5 o'clock comes around, I am no longer a egotastic FunTime guy. I'm a family-tastic, my wife and stepkid time guy. Concerned onlooker, we have to remember COVID messed up schedules all across Hollywood, and they're still trying to figure things out. Remember, even back in 2019, Marvel has scheduled movie releases out to 2030. That always, when they started doing that stuff, it annoyed me to no end. It's good for them to have a plan, announce it, fine, but I'm like, you're assuming people are gonna want to see those movies. You got to do a movie at a time to see if you keep your audience. I just didn't like them assuming that I'm going to care about them at all by the year 2030. They probably learned that lesson as well. You can't plan out that far ahead because you're making assumptions about your audience. And you're probably right. They were probably right with their assumptions, but people don't want to feel like you can assume what they're going to do, even if they're going to do it. Matthew Longstaff, Disney Plus is making a loss. Would more Orville make them anything? It'll get them subscriptions. All these subscription services, all they care about, and this totally makes sense, because that's their business, is getting subscriptions. So, one thing I do know about Disney Plus is they are claiming to have outperformed Netflix. Netflix is the biggest. They're claiming to now be above Netflix as far as subscriptions and stuff go, but they are not being super all the way truthful. They are counting Hulu into those numbers with Disney Plus, and what else do they got? Discovery Plus or whatever it is. It's a plus. I know that everything's a plus these days. Talking to you, MGM Plus. Also known as Metro Goldwyn Mayer Plus. Should have gone with that name. Way more snappier. So Disney is the top, but not really. They have to combine all their services together in order to beat Netflix, which doesn't sound like a win to me. But Disney Plus does very well. They got a lot of properties. Kind of makes sense now. Remember back when Disney was just buying everything? Kind of makes sense now, doesn't it? Now that they have Disney Plus, they're like, oh, they're trying to gather all this stuff to put on a possible streaming service. At least that's what it seems like. Fantastic, family-tastic dad guy. I try to do that. today I have a stepson date in the living room where I agreed to play a version of chess against him that he invented. So he's gonna, it's gonna be all kind of new rules. Pieces have different abilities, stuff like that. So we're gonna try that out today. He wants someone to help him play through the work out the kinks, I guess. So yeah, anything. The Orville is the only type of sci-fi of its kind, and it's about positivity. Disney wants positive stuff. So yeah, I think the Orville would be a great thing for Disney to pursue. I think they want to keep pursuing it. They just got to figure out how much it's going to cost, how many episodes they're going to want it to be, how many seasons they're going to want it to be. They're going to probably have a whole plan with merchandise and spin-offs. This is me assuming. This isn't official information, though it might be true. We'll have to wait and see. I think this is about much more than just having another season. I think this is about making a plan for a future for the Orville, and that's why it's taking extra long. Plus, there's the other challenges. I don't know if a fourth season and beyond would be even filmed at the Fox lot at Fox Studios. That was just a circumstantial situation that happened for season 3. They were already started working on season 3, and before the whole move to Hulu happened. So they're like, well, we're already started, we're already here, everything's built up here, let's finish it here. I don't know if they had to rent. I mean, Disney does own Fox, but I'm still sure they're separate entities, and they got to, figure things out and sign contracts and all that stuff and say, okay, you guys get this much money if we're going to film here and take up your space. So I don't know if for a future plan, they might shoot the whole thing at Disney. They might shoot it in Calgary. I don't know. They might shoot it in Atlanta. There's so many places to shoot nowadays. I would think they would stay in the Southern California area, though, because I doubt Seth would want to not live near Hollywood. Archmage Frey says, well, Disney Plus also offers packages with other things. I get Disney as a perk from Verizon. Netflix doesn't have those tricks. No, Netflix is still doing very, very well, especially when they put out really great stuff like Kunk on Earth and some other shows and movies. Even though they got a lot of junk on there I don't care about, they're doing very well. But I don't think that's gonna stand for very long. There's way too much competition out there. And I mentioned MGM Plus a couple minutes ago. What is MGM doing? It's fine to do what they're doing, but it's too late. It is way too damn late. Everyone's already complaining about all these other services. There's too much of them, right? And MGM's like, oh, people are tired of streaming services. Let's make a streaming service. I mean, MGM's got, 100 and some years of content to work with, but damn, really? So I don't know. I assume MGM Plus is just going to be one of these companies that gets absorbed, one of these services that gets absorbed into whatever ends up being the 3 services. I'm pretty sure when it's all said and done and the dust settles, there'll probably only be 3 services, but those 3 services will be combined, a combination of 1 billion services. It'll be like Pluto TV, but without it being free. They will cost money, and they'll probably cost more money than they cost now. Give you guys some a little tip. Just right now, I think it might have started today. At least today is the day that I saw the very first advertisement I've ever seen. For those of you who love Peacock, I love Peacock. I watch a lot of stuff on Peacock. They are offering a 1-year subscription for $29.99. That's like half the price, a third of the price, really, for the I don't know if it's with commercials or without commercials. I think it might be without commercials. $29.99 for a whole year. Very much worth it. They have the first 6 seasons of The Office Superfan Edition. Every episode is 10 minutes at least longer, if not more. You'll see a lot of new stuff on The Office, but also they got American Auto, Parks and Recreation, tons of movies, new movies. Violent Night just premiered the other day. You can watch Violent Night and other new ass movies. Did they have the menu? Did I watch the menu on Peacock? I might have. I can't remember. Like I said, there's so many services out there. I don't know what's on what anymore. But I love Peacock, and it's pretty cheap. Anyway, if you get it with commercials, it's only $5 a month. Well worth it. The commercial breaks are few and far between, but they're usually like 30 seconds to a minute long. Ain't no thing. And a lot of the commercials are of cool things like movies and things that are coming up on Peacock. So I highly recommend it if you like NBC type content, which I always have since I was a kid. But there's a lot of good movies on there too. So get you a deal with Peacock. Archimage says MGM was bought by Amazon. MGM Plus is a subset of Amazon Prime. Like Disney and Hulu are technically related. So I think they're all just going to go and it'll all just be Amazon Prime in a few years. And you know what I've noticed? Like, The Last of Us, which is the biggest show right now. People are just totally in love with The Last of Us as long as they're living their life right and not filled with hate. They absolutely love The Last of Us. It's the biggest show in a decade, or if ever. It's on HBOmax, right? Hulu is now advertising themselves as carrying The Last of Us, even though they are not. It's only because they have an add-on channel, same price as if you got it separately, of HBO Max on their Hulu service. So you still have to get HBO Max through Hulu if you want to watch it on Hulu. That's the future of streaming. All the bundling. There's just going to be a big old set of bundles. Get your 3 bundles. Probably cost you, I don't know, $100 a month to have all of them. Matthew Longstaff, I understand the golden age of streaming was when almost everything was on Netflix. Oh, that was the super golden era. That might be the legacy streaming era, platinum edition. Of course, like all of us, I started with Netflix day one, a billion years ago. They didn't have much, just like most streaming services when they start, they don't have much. Netflix didn't have much. I still use the DVD service back then because they didn't have much. And then they started getting more and more and more and all these great movies. And I was like, oh, damn, I'm watching Netflix all the time. They got TV shows. They had The Office back then. I didn't watch Friends, but female people that I usually live with most of my life liked watching Friends. Friends is a good show. I'm not going to slight it. And then it became Netflix Originals. And now it's just all Netflix Originals with a couple of shows nobody cares about. Well, I guess somebody must care about it. I don't care about whatever. I barely care about the originals. So now they're making their own content. And remember, just a few years ago, Netflix was just throwing anything they were making, they were throwing all their money at it. It was limitless. If you wanted to make a sitcom filmed inside Buckingham Palace as your set, you can do it. They had all the money to do it, and they spent too much money. And now, because there's all these other services with some pretty awesome shows, every service has at least one show somebody's aching to watch. They realized they spent too much money because people aren't signing up for Netflix as much as they used to. They're signing up for these other services, and they're like, damn, we spent too much money. It was for nothing. But we'll see how they go. I don't think Netflix is going anywhere. I just think all these things are just going to be evolving and becoming whatever they become. Sometimes they'll make decisions that work. Sometimes they'll make decisions that don't work. By the way, have you watched Netflix at home to check in and make sure they don't cancel your account because of people are sharing their passwords? Make sure you watch Netflix this week at least one time to check in so they don't cancel your account. But yeah, Netflix back in the day, middle of the day, pretty damn good. Just yesterday I was like, man, I should go back to getting the DVD service But then I was like, oh God, how would I even play a DVD? Do I even have a DVD player? Or I have a Blu-ray player in my closet that used to be a PlayStation 3. I guess I could take that and hook it up. It's backwards compatible. It'll play DVDs or Blu-rays. So then I'm set. I don't even have a DVD player set up anywhere, you guys. Everything is digital. Digital killed the DVD star. See, Andrew's not interested in The Last of Us. Ooh, boy. If you got interested in it, wow, what a show. But Andrew says, I only really like watching comedies. I get that. The Last of Us does have comedy in it, but it's very serious as well. And there are some scary bits as well and dramatic bits as well. It will change you. It'll shake you to your core. So I get it. I'm a comedy guy as well. I love drama, but it's only every once in a while because I usually really get into whatever human emotions, the way people are playing their characters. It makes me tired. So I usually prefer comedies, which has a whole other set of acting styles and abilities that are wonderful to watch. Anything I watch, I'm just really getting into the way people are performing and the way things are filmed. If any of you are into American Auto, great comedy on NBC/Peacock, I've noticed a huge difference in the cinematography in this new season that just came out, about a week ago. I'm wondering if they're doing that in order to compete with streaming services, or they just want to reward the show. It did well for them or something like that. It brought in viewers. I don't know. Good show. Andrew likes Viking Valhalla on Netflix. I like Valhalla on Assassin's Creed on my PlayStation. But yeah, people like that Viking stuff. Very interesting. Pretty serious, those Vikings. They weren't having a bunch of laughs. Except when they cut somebody's head off and they probably laughed. Ha ha ha, that felt good. The Brown Guy, LOL. I still have 2 VCRs. They are working. That's amazing. I definitely do not have a VCR anywhere in this house. Probably not even in my neighborhood. But, and I don't have any DVD players. But I do. But they're put up. I could probably break out that PlayStation 3. But I would use it very, very little because everything I watch is streaming. Yeah, on my PlayStation 3, I mean, I'm sure my PlayStation 4 would do it too, but I'm not putting that in the living room. Blu-rays and DVDs. Pretty sure the PlayStation 4 plays DVDs as well. I might have to download something. I can't remember. I haven't played physical media in a very long time. You guys remember back in the day when music cost money? Crazy, huh? Now almost all music is free. Well, not all music is free, but enough of it is free that I don't realize that not all of it is free. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Sorry, people that create music, but that's the world these days. Oh, that's right. I heard a little bit about that. Teppo says, I'm looking forward to the Amazon show about Fallout. Just hearing Amazon, who does pretty quality stuff, and Fallout, which is an amazing Bethesda series. I love it. I love it. I'm going to check it out. I'm sure I'll enjoy it very much. And we'll talk about it during the live shows. I won't cover it. So many shows. Any shows that are good, almost, except for the Orville, because I'm all set up with the Orville. Every other show, almost not worth covering, making videos about, because everyone else is doing that. It's just like everyone's doing the Wednesday Addams dance right now. Any show that's big, everybody and their grandmother literally are making videos about it. I'd rather have conversations about it. So unless it's the Orville, I'm making videos about the Orville. But other stuff, we're going to talk about it right here. I've learned my lesson. Oh, Pranakash says, I have a box that plays both DVDs and VHS. I remember those. I remember combo players. No Money says, I have one DVD player and several Blu-ray players. I'm big into physical media. Streaming is much easier, I have to admit. I do have one VCR. Yeah, nothing wrong. Physical media doesn't sell like it used to sell. But it's good to have it, right? You have the thing. If streaming services close down or the internet's down, you can still watch the stuff you want to watch. Rob Hughes, Jaloja, JP, I would so watch you play Last of Us. I'm thinking about that, Rob. I'm thinking about doing some... I got a phone message, you guys. I'm sure that's Jessica. I'll check it in a second. I'm thinking of doing that just for fun here on YouTube. Being split off in between different sites. Plus, I don't really like Twitch anymore. I don't like their business practices. Got to do it all in one place. So here's the things that I'm thinking of doing that aren't chat sessions, but actually doing something sessions. Feel free to chat in them, of course. Playing The Last of Us, maybe kind of talking about the episodes that compare to whatever area of the game that I'm playing, kind of compare and contrast. That sounds like fun. Also, shivving some clickers is always fun. But also, probably before that, maybe this weekend, I'm thinking about it and figuring out how it would work out. I'm thinking of doing some Orville Season 3 watch parties. Now, it'll be up to the viewers to have their copy or their wherever they keep their Orville stuff. It'd be up to them to play the episode on their side. They'll all have a visual cue on the screen, ever so slight visual cue on the screen, so people know exactly where they're at and they can keep up with the episode. But doing some watch parties. We always had fun doing watch parties over on Twitch, even though getting it all set up was a pain in the ass with Twitch, and I hated that I would do a Twitch watch party of something, and it's not always available in other people's regions. Hated that. But I think we'll be doing some, at least the Orville premiere episode, maybe this weekend. I've been thinking about how I want to do it. I don't think it'd be hard to put together, and of course we could chat through the whole thing, and people can keep track of it on their end. Margot's like, I'm already there, and it won't get flagged for copyright or anything like that, which is always important. As a YouTuber, you always got to keep that in mind. Teppo says, JP, check out Better Off Ted. Dry, dark humor done so well. I've seen a little bit of Better Off Ted way back in the day when it was airing. I have a buddy, Aaron, who loves Better Off Ted. I'll have to check it out. Teppo, is it on Hulu? Is what on Hulu? I'm missing the context. The Orville's on Hulu. The Orville's on Disney Plus and Hulu. That I know. Matthew says, I have Star Trek, the original series, on BD for the original effects. Oh, not the updated ones. Not the remasters. The remasters are so pretty, though. Enlightened Talks would love that. Pranakasha, I just bought the complete box set of Mission Impossible DVDs. The original TV series from the 60s and 70s. Woo! I used to watch Mission Impossible reruns all the time when I was a kid in the 80s. Rob Hughes, thank you so much for that super chat. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. You're helping us kick off 2023, taking it back. These are our fandoms. We're going to love on them a little bit and share them with each other a little bit. And anytime the Orville has anything going on, even a little, hey, watch the Orville. All seasons available now. We're going to talk about it. Longstaff, so do I. The TOS with original effects still looks the best to me. Um, you know, I have memories of watching. I watched a lot of the original series back in the 80s, reruns, of course. I remember I loved it. It looked so great, but the only thing I do remember the effects that I hated, even as a young child, is sometimes you'd see the Enterprise flying through space, and sometimes I would see the stars of space, on the back side of the ship. I could see through the ship and see the stars sometimes. And even then, I was like, oh man. And I was a little kid, and I was like, that ain't right. The remasters that I really love, though, are the Next Generation. Because you go back and watch the originals, sometimes the effects look worse than the original series effects. Maybe we know too much about how effects are made nowadays, maybe. But the remasters are pretty damn good. And plus, I love the colors and how clear it looks. I wish they were able to have done that with Deep Space Nine and Voyager especially. I really loved Voyager. But man, I have a hard time watching reruns just because they don't look. They're not clear and colorful. The effects are okay-ish. They're fine, but I want it to be crisp and clear. Enterprise, crisp and clear. Next Generation, crisp and clear. The original series, super crisp and clear and colorful. Like my back wall here. But those two, gritty, dark. And they don't have to be. Thanks, Rob Hughes. Rob says, I like what you do. I like to move it, move it. Jake Krause says, anyone have a Hulu D Plus bot so we can watch the Orville 24/7 to boost the numbers? My only worry about that is they might have an algorithm that can detect bots so they don't count the views. The original series Enterprise, all 10 feet long, is in the Smithsonian, restored to all her glory. I'm trying to remember back at the Star Trek Las Vegas, the Star Trek experience. They had Voyager up there. I think the model up in the ceiling, they had the D. Yeah, they didn't have the original. I don't remember, unless I'm sure they probably had a little model somewhere behind a case or something like that. But I used to love Star Trek experience. Right when you first walk in, giant Enterprise D and a slightly smaller Voyager. Oh, I missed those days, you guys. In a box somewhere, I just saw it the other day. I was digging through a box. They had those, you could take a picture, or at the Star Trek experience, you could take a picture and they would put it inside, you were part of the crew, you were part of the cast of one of the Star Trek series. I had one made of me as part of the cast of Enterprise. I just saw it the other day. I should bring it out and show it to you guys. I gotta go track it down. One of these future streams, I'll show it. I'll show you old school JP. My beard was smaller. And my face was smaller. And my head was hairier. On the top part, not just the bottom part. Yeah, Voyager, actually, their opening sequence, Matthew, is probably my favorite. It was just so beautiful and serene, yet you're traveling. You're going on an adventure. It's very much, the Orville very much modeled their theme on the Voyager theme. Do 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 do. No, that's the end of Enterprise. Do 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 do. Loved it. Yeah, you can't improve it. Somebody did a remaster. Just a fan did a remaster, HD, 4K, all that stuff. So good, looks so good. But really, when I see something that's remastered, it just looks exactly like my memory of the thing looked. Like I have The Last of Us remastered, and it looks amazing, and it looks so much better than the original version, the PS3 version. But really, when I play it, it just looks the way that I remember the original one looking, even though it doesn't. Madam Zelda says, you were always handsome, but yes, your wife has been a wonderful influence on you. She has. Just her being herself and me getting to see who she is and appreciate it has changed me quite a bit. I tell her that all the time. The D is the most beautiful of all enterprises. That's right. That big old D. Unless they did a double D. That probably could have been pretty cool. But thank you, madam. Pranakash says, I refused to watch TNG for years because I didn't like the warp core. But then I learned how to cut them some slack and how to enjoy the show. That's an important lesson to be learned anytime, anywhere. A lot of people don't cut. A lot of people, they hate certain things, remakes of things and they can't cut anybody any slack because it's like, this doesn't look like what I remember. And I don't want things to change. The world sucks right now because things changed, I guess. Innovation sucks, I guess. But then they can't get over that. It's all about learning to appreciate a thing for what it is, or the intent of what they're trying to go for, not expecting something today to be exactly like it was 20 years ago, during a time when you were in an age where you didn't even know what was going on 20 years ago. Star Trek is a memory for a lot of people, and they want other things to hold up to a memory, which is never accurate in the first place. Humans aren't good at remembering things correctly. But yeah, you gotta be open to receive. Point is, remastered Voyager would ruin the opening. I don't think it would ruin it for me as long as it just looks clearer and more colorful. I think that's all it would be. Effects-wise, I think they're fine. I don't think they need to add any effects to Voyager, almost anything Voyager. I think the effects on Voyager were fine as is. Voyager was lucky to be around during the golden age of CGI. And their sequence was amazing, but more colors and clearer, I'd be totally fine with that. TNG needed some updates. What's the encounter at Farpoint? Remember the little squid? The lonely squid monster? You watched the original, I'm like, oh, this is totally cheap. But they remastered it. It looks the same as you remember, but actually literally improved. The only thing that really takes me out on the original series, I love, the phasers look better, stuff looks better. When they're flying in space, coming upon a planet, totally looks better, but it looks different than the rest of the show. So it kind of does take me out a little bit with the remaster. Looks good, but it doesn't look at the same level. Wesley Phelps, oh, you missed so freaking much. We talked about all the brand new Orville news. We talked about The Last of Us. We talked about comedy. We talked about the streaming wars. We talked about coffee. And the latest Orville news is that there's no news. Except for to stay calm, be patient. I think we'll be happy. I think there will eventually be an announcement and we're going to be happy about it. The salt vampire from the original series was funny. They brought that alien race back in new Star Trek. No. It was on, well, it's new Star Trek. They brought it back on Lower Decks. It was pretty awesome. Lower Decks brings back everything, though. I still haven't even watched season 3. I need to do that. I have Paramount Plus with commercials. I switched all of my streaming accounts to with commercials. It's a third of the price on everything, and the commercials are no big whoop, and you get all the shows. Heck, I have the with commercials version of HBOmax. There's almost no commercials. On The Last of Us, there are no commercials. I have the with commercial service. I watched The Last of Us. There are no commercials. It's amazing. It's almost like they're giving me money to use their service. Rob Hughes, little side topic, JP, but do you read sci-fi? Who are some of your favorite authors? It's been a long time since I've read sci-fi, but I remember I loved Ben Bova, the Orion series. I read a few of those. Of course, some of the classics. Asimov, Bradbury, right? Yeah, Bradbury. But I don't read a lot of sci-fi. I did read Artemis a couple of years ago. The guy who wrote The Martian, he wrote Artemis, which is an awesome story that takes place on the moon. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, I don't read as much as I want. I keep wanting to go back to reading more. I've been meaning to do it. But you know how the world we live in now always keeps you stuck to a screen, right? Oh. I got a button I got to press. This Pranakasha says the Saul vampire was scarier than SHIT when I was 8 years old. Yeah, it was that mouth and a really bad hairdo. Pranakasha Production says, I like commercials. I like to see how they are going to get me interested in their product in 30 seconds or less. I've always been the exact same way ever since I was a little kid. Streaming commercials aren't as good because it's not that same cheese factor that regular commercials have. Sometimes you'll get a Tide commercial, but it's very rare. But I've always liked to see how people are choosing to market their product, and I like to keep up with that because the way you advertise or promote a product changes with the times as well. Case in point, I'm such a marketing idiot. Always have been since I was a kid. Today, for 20 minutes, I watched an old industrial video on how to make and how an employee is supposed to make pizza at Pizza Hut. I watched an old Pizza Hut industrial, and then I started to work my way onto a Wendy's industrial, and I was like, oh no, I gotta stop. Though I kind of want to finish the Wendy's industrial. It was so tone deaf. And Dave, the guy who started Wendy's, is in it. Dave Thompson, I think it was. I think I might start putting clips of that stuff into some of my videos when I make videos. You could read on that screen. You know, I have a not an iPad, a Fire Pad. I'm not talking about menstruating or anything like that. A Fire whatever from Amazon because they're super cheap and they're good. I have two, but even that, I'm reading it. So much stuff is available and cheaper than buying a book. But I'm like, I miss a book. I miss having a night light, a book light, and a book, and you're turning the pages and all that stuff. So, but I've been getting in the works to start getting some books. I was going to go over to Amazon, the place that used to send people books back in the day. It's where it all Kindle Fire, that's it. But yeah, books. I was going to see how much books cost. I like regular paperbacks, especially if you're in bed reading. Those hardcover books get pretty damn heavy. Even I find the Kindle gets annoying to hold. There's that new super light Paperwhite Kindle. If I had money, I would buy it. But money is for rich people. Yeah, I was thinking, oh, that'd be an awesome thing to read books on. It's so thin and it looks like paper and feels kind of like paper. Yeah, you know, some of us that grew up with books and even though they're super throwback with paper in them, you know, books have that certain smell to them, that certain feel, that it's all stuff you picked up when you were younger and it stayed with you. I still love the smell of chalk from elementary school. Oh, I did read that, and that's a good recommendation. Rob Hughes says, may I suggest a copy of Sympathy for the Devil, written by Seth MacFarlane for the Orville. My favorite Orville story and lesson is from Sympathy for the Devil. Hate that they weren't able to film it because it was just too hard to film during all the COVID stuff going on. Seth says he would like to film it for season 4, if they get a season 4, which I think they are. So I'll be very happy to see that because I think it'll be an Emmy winner. Link is down below in the description if you want to order it. You can either get it the physical version or you can get the Audible version, which I very highly recommend. You can get it for free if you sign up for a free trial of Audible. Read by Bruce Boxleitner, the president of the union. He did such a great job. Let Bruce tell you a story in the Orville universe. Listen to him play the different characters. You can hear him play Gordon and Bortus and Kelly and Ed and all that stuff. It's pretty great. It'll be a 3-hour experience for you. Story time with Bruce Boxleitner. Did I have fun in the ice storm? The storm was fine. I just stayed in the house, but now I can't go outside. I mean, I can. It's a little dangerous, but it's better than it was a few days ago. But yeah, we're still covered in ice. A lot of people have been iced in for 3 or 4 days now. But I'm fine with it. But I did slip and fall pretty damn hard yesterday. Oh wow, Pranakasha Productions, you are now a gifter with the new gifting feature from YouTube. Pranakasha Productions gifted 5 Egotastic FunTime memberships. Congratulations, Douglas H., James Cecil, John Smith, George Garcia, and Saren Mods 21. Welcome to Egotastic FunTime. You will now receive, now your names are green, so when you chat, it'll be green. I'll see it a little bit better than some of the other stuff that's coming through the chat. I'll notice it a little bit easier. Also, you get badges. The longer that you subscribe, have a membership, you earn badges throughout that time. So I can see how long you've been subscribing. You got, of course, now you can use the emojis that are available, created by moi, in the chat, like so. How about getting a little Dan in your life? Hey Dan, what's going on? I hope in season 4 we get a little bit more story. Dan story. We didn't get much in season 3. We didn't learn much about Dan. We didn't learn much about Yaphet. Yaphet's going to be a tough one to continue on, but I wouldn't mind learning more about the jellies. And then of course Dan, whatever his people are called, I'd like to learn more about you, Dan. Mike Henry, Mark Termel. Bruce Boxleitner has such a distinctive voice. Yeah, I really enjoyed his reading. I got to listen to it again sometime because, gosh, I just love the story so much. And really, it does throw you off. You're like, what is going on with this story? This doesn't make any sense. I mean, the story makes sense, but how it fits into the Orville universe. I'm like, how is this story part of the Orville universe? And then boom, you're like, oh gosh, makes so much sense. Oh my gosh, I just learned a thing. I learned something. I love it. Yeah, we can all use a little more Dan. Rob Hughes says Norm's death was hard. Not Nimoy hard, but he will be missed. He will. I loved Norm Macdonald. Not even talking about the Orville stuff. I've always loved Norm. I listened to one on Audible. I listened to Norm's latest book from a few years ago. I listened to it a few years ago. It was great. It's like a autobiography, but it's all fake. He just lies about himself and tells all these stories about himself, and they're all fake. Absolutely loved it. The only new Dan stories we're getting in 2023 are Dan Fielding. Yeah, and I'm enjoying that. There's the latest episode just came out of Night Court, the new Night Court, which feels a lot like the old Night Court. I love me some Dan Fielding. I like that they switched Dan from prosecutor to defender, which he's trying to figure out himself, which is a lot of fun to watch. I love the new Night Court. It's great for a 22-minute sitcom series once a week. I don't know if I'd be able to binge watch it or any type of sitcom like that anymore. I'm hoping Brent Spiner makes a cameo. He's a little busy these days, but I think he can get a day. You know, it'd take a few hours for him to go in there and film a segment. I hope they're able to do it, because he was an important part of the original Night Court as well. Bruce's best role is Babylon 5. I don't know. I saw him in a movie last year, a romantic comedy where he played the dad. He was pretty good in that too. I saw him play the president of the union. I liked him a lot in that. Mark says, bracing for a negative 30 Celsius day tomorrow. Ooh, negative 22 Fahrenheit for your neighbor from the south. Ooh, geez. Right now, it's not so bad. Where I'm at, it's 34 degrees. I think it's going to make it all the way up to like 42 later today. But, you know, things change here really damn fast. So 34 might just end up being the high. Hopefully, it getting up into the 40s, and hopefully it's not too much cloud cover will hopefully, I keep saying that word hopefully, because things don't always work out here in this part of the world, that some of this ice gets melted, because it's just ice. There's no snow. It's just ice. It's very slippery, but unfortunately ice evolved to be white, so if the sun came out, it'll just reflect right off of that snow and not do a damn, or that ice and not do a damn thing. But fingers crossed. I would love to have my full driveway back. I'd love to have my street back, where you can back out of your driveway and not slide around. I was so worried for Jessica this morning, because she's been going to work today and yesterday. She backs her little car out this morning, and then she was just sliding around the street, and I was like, oh. But once you get out of the neighborhood, and this is how it is over here, once you get out of the neighborhood, all the regular streets are always clear because they plow them and stuff, but they usually don't make it into the neighborhoods. So getting in and out of your neighborhood is pretty dangerous, but once you get out there, it's not so bad. Pranakash says we're at 36 degrees here in Seattle. Stu Parker says, that's cold. It's 85 here in New Zealand. Ooh, hope you're wearing a jacket. Dang, 30s is kind of chilly too. I don't mind the cold. Anyone who lives in cold areas knows it's not really that bad unless it's windy. Like if it's not windy, which I don't think it is right now, I'll go right out there. I don't care. I'll wear shorts and a t-shirt. It feels fine. But if there's even the slightest breeze, it is freezing. But yeah, in the winters, I hardly wear a jacket at all, unless it's windy. Ice on the road here in Mustang, Oklahoma. I don't know where Mustang, Oklahoma is. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I'm sure we're getting a very similar experience. Teppo says negative 27 Celsius here in northern Finland. Good old Finny. Gets cold in Finny. Breathing feels better when it's cold too, but not too cold. Yeah. I love a brisk chill. I go outside and I just take a deep breath. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Some people enjoy the dry heat when it comes to breathing and stuff like that. I like it crisp and cold. The heat out here in Oklahoma is wet, humid heat, not good for breathing. Rance from Canada says, get some ice melt. The sun comes out, the ice will burn off. Source in Winnipeg, it was negative 31 Celsius this morning. Our high is negative 25. Ooh, be careful out there. Rise and shine, campers. It's a cold one today. It's a cold one every day. Yeah, I got ice melt. I've been scooping it and throwing it all over the driveway. It does melt some patches of the ice, but we haven't had any sun. So I'm waiting for that sun to come out and really, really do its work with that ice combo. Sun and ice. Sun and ice. Kind of feels nice. Just don't burn the rice. Sun and ice. Yeah, ice is the worst because it's dangerous. Ice is dangerous. Snow is usually pretty fine, pretty great. Actually, it's beautiful. You can drive on it most of the time if it's not too thick. You can walk on it. But that ice, man, you slipping and sliding. Everybody falls on their butt at least once. I fell on my chest day before yesterday, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. Rob says, I used to live in upstate, was that Minnesota? And now down in Louisiana, it gets in the 50s, and I wear shorts and tank tops. The looks I get. Yeah, we got people that do that here. I mean, it gets cold, but it don't get that kind of cold. It don't get frostbite in 5 minutes kind of cold. And if it does, it's extremely rare. The first year I moved to Oklahoma, we had a blizzard. I've barely even ever seen snow. And now I'm in a blizzard. And we were snowed in for days. I was in the shower getting ready for work, and my cousin who I was living with at the time knocks on the bathroom. He's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm getting a shower, getting ready for work." He's like, "You're not going anywhere. It's a blizzard." I was like, "What?" Missing work was not something that I would have done. I have a problem with that. Probably an issue with that. Something I shouldn't have. Work. We got all these stupid jobs. Some people got some great jobs, but most of us have stupid jobs. I like my job. It doesn't pay well. It's always a stressful thing all the time, nonstop, but I still prefer it than working for the man. So if I'm not feeling good, I'll just go get better, or sometimes I'll just work through it, because sometimes that makes me feel better. But I don't have to worry about making that dreadful phone call. I'm not going to be able to make it in today. I found just being super poor is worth not having to do that. The sun will come out tomorrow. Such a tragic tale about tomorrow. The sun will explode. In space, nobody can hear you shiver from the cold. I don't know if you'll be able to shiver. You might freeze in place and no shivering will be allowed. Teppo says, as kids, we dared a friend of mine to press the tip of his dingus against the super cold metal pole. He was like a jumping rope. Dang, now I understand why you wanted to see it. If it's that long. Yeah, that's gotta hurt. A dingus got his dingus stuck to a pole. Rance from Canada, the trick with snow days is living somewhere where a blizzard shuts everything down. Up here, they pretty much expect you in. Follow the plow, butthead. Yep. You gotta follow the plow. Here, if you can get to the street later in the day or the next day, you're going to be okay, but your neighborhood is going to be really hard to traverse through. But once you do, you're like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. Winnipeg, it's a dry cold. It is warming up for the weekend. All right. Everything's less freezing on the weekend. Yeah, weather does not faze me. There's a lot of weather here where I live, but it does not faze me. As long as the power doesn't go out, though it sometimes does, I am good. I just come right in here, get on this computer, get stuff done. It's awesome. I mean, you can't have as much stuff, but it's awesome. I don't need as much stuff anymore. I used to love stuff. I don't care about stuff so much. Yeah, snow doesn't cancel anything for me. I see a lot of people on like my Facebook, whatever, going, "Oh God, I've been snowed in for 3 days. How has the ice storm affected you?" And I'm like, I only know it happened if I looked out the window. When I'm not looking out the window, I don't even think about it. I'm just right here doing the bips and the bops and the ones and the zeros and the analytics and the algorithms and the filming and the editing, all that crazy stuff, and the researching. Snow don't stop nothing. Unless he's an informer. Informer. Stop. Oh, digging my boom down. Oh, the Celine Annie. That was episode 4. Gently Falling Rain. Yeah, that was great that they ended up doing that. Of course, there would still be plays. There'd be classics being performed in the hundreds of years from now, but with different types of people, with aliens and all that crazy stuff. I would love to see a Kalon perform a work of literature upon the stage. That would be amazing to see. Probably a little bit boring. I mean, people are still performing Shakespeare. And that was like 10, 15 years ago. If not more. If snow canceled things, Finland would not function. I've always wanted to visit Finland. The whole region. Teppo says, I love summer. It's the best day of the year in Finland. Summer sucks where I'm at. Usually the third week of fall is pretty great where I'm at. I hate summer. Some people really like summer here. They just like the heat and all that stuff. I'm not like that because the heat is too much heat. I mean, June's usually okay. But man, when you get into that late June, July, August, even the first half of September, it's a little warm over here. But things are a little bit different now. It used to be nonstop warm. But now you will have, it'll be way too hot or whatever. And then all of a sudden you got a really nice day in the summer. It's really weird. It's not too hot. It feels good. It used to be just 100 days of nonstop heat in summer, but now it's a little bit more varied than it used to be. Thank you, garbage and landfills. Kalon Fiddler on the roof. Yada 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 yada. If I were a rich man, if I were a rich can. You can always layer for the cold, even -40. It's how sad the car feels to start. Yeah, it's hard. Even with a block heater, it's harder to dress for the heat. You can only lose so much and stay legal. That's right. And there's plenty of people who I do not want to have them lose too much around here. You know what really grinds my gears? People who eat pizza on the beach. Yeah, that does seem weird. That makes me feel gross just imagining it. Another thing that makes me feel gross is sharing milk. You get a little carton of milk, you drink a little bit. You want some of my milk? Sure, I'll have some of your milk. That seems weird to me for some reason. Do they have mosquitoes over there? Oh yeah, we have all the mosquitoes. Any mosquitoes you've ever seen anywhere else in the world are just the ones that couldn't fit here. You will get bitten. Even if you're in your house, you will get bitten by a mosquito. This is where Mosquito Zero started. We had the first mosquito, and I'm sure we'll have the last mosquito. Teppo says, when I was in, talking to Rants, when I was in the military, we had old Soviet-made trucks that would be heated up in the winter by building an actual bonfire under the engine block. Wow, under the engine block. Not even parked nearby, but underneath. Ooh, pineapple pizza. I'm one of those people. I like me a pineapple pizza. I like it with black olives, Canadian bacon, and thin crust. You can put some green peppers on there if you want. You can put a little bit of onions there. Now that I'm older, when I was younger, get that other crap, get any vegetables off of there except for the black olives. Yeah, I don't think it shouldn't exist. If people are eating sardines on their pizza, there definitely should be a pineapple pizza. Oh, boom, that works too. Now that I'm older, I also wouldn't mind jalapenos on my pineapple pizza. I like me a jalapeno now. I used to not like jalapenos. My wife loves jalapenos, so she puts jalapenos on everything. And now I love jalapenos. Not to get along, but just because I do. She introduced me to jalapenos. If you find a girl that introduces you to jalapenos, hold on. What's up, bird of prey? Kapla all. Sorry to be late. Who are we taking fandom back from? From toxic people. They come into our fandoms and they just start spreading junk. So we're fighting back with positivity and weapons. I always grab my positivity first, but if my positivity isn't within reach, I get weapons, because I always have weapons nearby too. See this cup? In my hands, it's far deadlier than in someone else's hands. I can take people out with a coffee cup. Bell pepper and jalapeno jam, soft goat's cheese and arugula. Best pizza ever. I've never had goat cheese on a pizza, but I love goat cheese. No one else I know likes goat cheese. I love goat cheese. Arugula. There's a pizza. I haven't had it in years, but there's Papa Murphy's. It's one of those pizza places where you go, you order a pizza, but it's not cooked yet. You take it home and put it in your own oven. Deloitte. They have one called the Mediterranean chicken pizza. You know, it's got the chicken. It's got sun-dried tomatoes, which I love. Sun-dried tomatoes. Even as a kid, I love sun-dried tomatoes. And it's got, like, I don't know, little veggies on it. Spinach, I think, which is great. I love spinach. And some other things. It's so good. And it's thin crust. It's so freaking good. I haven't had it for a couple of years, but oh man. The next time I get money, I'm going to go get me a Mediterranean chicken pizza from Papa Murphy's. Old Babylon 5 memory from Mark. When Garibaldi made his father's bagna cotta recipe, old butter anchovies, I had to try it. Not bad, very rich. Ooh, old butter anchovies. I can maybe do the old butter. I don't know about the anchovies. TGI Fridays in 1999 introduced me to jalapenos. Good old TGI Fridays. Thank God for jalapenos. If I could have married it, I would have. Yeah, my life, jalapenos have always been a part of my life, but I would always pick them out or something like that. Now that I'm older, I'm like, put the whole thing on there. I want me a jalapeno. I'm a jalapeno in the ass. Nobody in Canada calls that stuff bacon. Yeah, I love American bacon. Nice and crispy. Love it. And then I had the British style bacon when I went, one of the times that I was in London, and I don't like it. I had a bacon burger. It's not the same. It's not the bacon burger I want. It was a hamburger with a big old mess of pig meat on top. And I was like, I don't like it. But it's important to try new things, right? Experience other things that are just normal in other places. Except for camel's milk. I don't think I'll ever try camel's milk. Death by teacup. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Bird of Prey. I hope you're doing well. When I make pizza at home, I always use tortillas as the base, unless I make my own dough the day before. Tortillas totally work. I watched one of the doctors, health doctors that I watch a bunch of the time. He was saying he eats pizza all the time, and he was showing what he makes, and it's tortilla based. And he's like, it's way healthier and delicious. I love me a tortilla. I almost bought tortillas the other day when I went to the store, and I decided against it. A lot of things I almost buy, I decide against because I'm like, oh, too many carbs or too many this or too many that. So then I just go home with nothing. Just a very few things to make other people happy in this house. But I'm a big tortilla fan. I can make a burrito out of anything you got in your refrigerator, and it'll be delicious. Archmage says, the first time I had Canadian bacon was on the road trip to Maine for breakfast, and I never felt to misled in my life. It was ham with no crisp. Yeah, I don't even know why they call it Canadian bacon. Even though it's called Canadian bacon, I never thought of it as a Canadian thing. It's basically really thin Spam. It's uncooked pork rinds. Love it on a pizza, though. When we order bacon, we expect the same strips as Americans. Everybody should expect that. That bacon, American bacon, is so good. And it's super healthy. I mean, bacon is just super healthy for you. It's just fat with a little bit of protein. Fat's really good for you. Ever tried insects? No. But when we went to the fair this year, you know, they sell crazy foods at the fairs. So they had like cricket pizza, you know, pizza with little crickets on it. Jessica and Jace both ordered one and shared it, and they're like, "Ooh, try it." I'm like, "No, it don't even look good. It's just like a regular cheese pizza with some holes in it, and they just put little dead crickets in them, little crispies." I hear they're good. I know they're fine. They're a good source of protein and nutrients and all that stuff. I don't care. I'm gonna go get me a deep fried Twinkie. I already tried corned dog meat at the fair. Curtis Tate, yeah, I decided just for shiz and giz to try an early morning stream, see what we think about it. Loving the conversation, loving the time slot. I doubt very many other people are streaming right now, which I also love. Let them do their thing at night, all crowded upon each other, fighting for scraps. Now, since I did it in the morning, I got all the stuff I want to do today, and I don't have to wait to do a stream. I've already done it. I can go put together my new computer chair. I can make some more videos. I've been having a lot of fun making shorts. I haven't got, and actually I have a short that I need to write. I mean, gosh, you just got to write a paragraph, but I got to write the perfect paragraph, and then I got to film it. It's not a jokey short. It's an informative short that I think that I've been just wanting to test out. I've been testing out the shorts for the last couple months, playing with them, seeing if I can break them, find a bug in them, find the benefits of them. One benefit I will say is because I've been playing around with shorts, in the month of January, the last 28 days basically, my channel's gotten over 1.2 million views. I mean, they don't translate into money or anything like that. Well, starting yesterday, they are going to start hopefully transferring over into money, but it's a great way to get people to notice your channel, to get some new subscribers, some new thumbs ups and thumbs downs, and new comments, and it's a great way to bring attention, bring your channel some attention from the algorithm. And they're just fun. It's a great way to blow off some steam, or just, you know, when it comes to making videos, I've kind of been typecast as a channel into only being able to make Orville videos if you want any views or anything like that. And even if you're getting all the views in the world, you're just making one thing. So it's nice to every once in a while just make something a little different. Yeah, I never thought of YouTube as being very good at sending out notifications, Curtis. Even when you click the bell and all that stuff, I still don't trust YouTube to send everybody a notification. Maybe just a percentage, maybe 10%. What's up, Frederick? Or is it Frederick or Frederick? Frederick? I think it's Frederick. Gotta go. Greetings from Germany. Congratulations on now being able to watch the Orville season 3 in Germany. I watched you from the very early days of the Orville when you still sat in the car and talked about your old crappy job. Oh, that was a while ago. I still have the old crappy car though. I wish you all the streamers success. Thank you. What I'm always trying to do is try to figure out what needs to be done in order to get better. And so I'm always trying new things. I'll try things for a couple weeks, look over all my data, see what was worth it, what was not worth wasting time on, and then I'll try a new thing, taking in some of the things that I learned from the previous thing that I tried. Right now I'm in quarter 1 of 2023 mode, which is going to be a lot of streaming, a lot of just fun, zany stuff, conversations, trying to pay attention to the community here at Egotastic FunTime, and of course always keeping a side eye on the Orville to see what's going on and keep you guys informed. Yeah, the Orville needs a chef on the ship. Well, I do wonder, Matt, about Muska's. Is Muska's just still replicated food? Are you going to Muska's for the atmosphere? Or do they actually have a chef preparing real food at Muska's? Is Muska the chef on the ship? Or is he just the sommelier, the host? But he does walk around the restaurant kind of like a chef does sometimes, asking how your food is and this and that. By the way, chefs, please stop doing that. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't like talking to people I don't know out of the blue. I think a lot of people are probably like that. But, you know, Muska's kind of like that. I wonder if Muska's is just for the atmosphere, or are you getting a little bit higher quality of food there? Inquiring minds want to know. Chef Pool, which would be my name if I was a chef. Absolutely. Archmage Frey, did you see they just started work on the new Frasier? I, for one, am excited. Yeah, I am interested. I really enjoyed Frasier back in the day. I never cared if they made a new one or not. But if, no matter what it is, if they make it, it comes out and it's decent, I'm going to give it some props for being decent. I gave the new 70s show, the 90s show, props for being decent. The new Night Court, I give them props for being decent. But even being just decent is hard to do in this day and age. I mean, it's always been hard to make anything entertainment-wise. It's a lot of people having to work together to make a thing happen. Should be impossible, but apparently it's not impossible. but still should be impossible. But people are doing it. They're overcoming the obstacles. So I always try to appreciate everything in some way. I always, even if I don't like the end product, I appreciate the work that goes into it. So I'll check out a new Frasier for sure. And I'll especially check it out if it's a once a week thing. I do not mind throwing in a 22-minute thing into my weekly schedule to watch. But when they drop everything at once, oh, it's hard to get into it. I'm like, this is too much time. And if it's at all decent and it's all dropped at once, I'm going to want to watch the next episode and the next episode. I'm going to want to binge the whole thing because that's how they make things. They make you want to keep going. It's important to do that in this day and age. But I love it when things are dropped once a week. Except for Kunk on Earth. If you haven't seen Kunk on Earth, they dropped, I think it's only 5 episodes. A mockumentary style show about Earth and history and people. So good. Just 5 episodes. I don't think they're going to be putting out any more unless they do another season next year. Definitely worth binge watching. Happy throwback memories. Memories? What's up, Terry? How you doing? We should buy a bar, name it the P Corner. Absolutely, it should be called the P Corner. But bathrooms are only for number 1s, no number 2s. Number 2s, you got to go across the street. Rant says, hey, baby, I hear the Blues are chilling. Tossed salads and scrambled eggs. A little Frasier moment right there. That's a throwback. Curtis Tate, I am enjoying that 90s show. I really enjoyed it. I watched the 70s show for years. I was never that into it, but I enjoyed it. The 90s show is exactly the same tone, format, and all stuff, just with new kids. All the new kids represent some sort of character found within the original kids. But I don't care about the kids as much because I'm older. I'm all about Red and Kitty. Anything Red and Kitty do is great on the new show. The kids are doing a great job in that 90s show. I just don't care as much, but they're doing a great job. They're just a bunch of cute kids to me. I appreciate that. But really, I really like the Red and Kitty stuff. Frasier's returning to Boston. Oh, will there be a Cheers? I guarantee you they're going to touch upon Cheers. They're going to touch upon Cheers. He's either going to visit there or it's going to be an aside line in the script, something like that. And I bet you there'll be some cameos. Ted Danson is still acting his ass off all the time. I bet you he shows up. And everyone's going to go, woo! Well, at least the fake audience, the canned laughter will go, woo! It'd be fun if they actually did live studio audiences for these newer shows. I mean, I'm sure they're just screening the episodes to audiences, and whatever reaction they get, they add on to the episodes and probably, sweeten them a little bit. But I'll check out a Frasier. Everything's a reboot. Why is it a reboot? Is it the studios being lazy? No, it's the studios capitalizing on the fact that we're lazy. If we didn't watch these things, they wouldn't make them. But as long as they're doing a good job, I don't mind going back in time a little bit. Matthew Longstaff says, Halston Sage, Alara Katan, is a new rom-com, Daughter of the Bride. Oh, is she in that? I just saw that title listed somewhere a day or two ago. Daughter of the Bride, out in the U.S. tomorrow, if that is your jar of pickles. It might be my jar of pickles. Well, it doesn't sound like something I would leave the house to watch, but I would definitely watch it at home with my wife. Sounds like something she would enjoy. And I enjoy watching my wife enjoy things. I get a kick out of it, so I'll try to enjoy things with her. But I had no idea. I saw that title and I had no idea. I assume it's a spin-off or an offshoot of Father of the Bride. but definitely a different a vibe going on. DeBeaumont, what's going on? Hi, JP. Have you watched the latest Shuttlepod show on YouTube? They just interviewed Michael Dorn, a.k.a. Worf. It was pretty cool. How you been? I've been good. No, I didn't watch that. I very rarely watch anything like that on YouTube. I'm usually always watching informative stuff or really short stuff. But Michael Dorn, any Michael Dorn interviews, I'll probably save. Any of the cast of Star Trek, I'll probably save until after Picard Season 3 comes out. But I've been watching Michael Dorn stuff too. I've been putting out shorts of Michael Dorn playing Worf in Ted 2 because it's hilarious. He's not playing himself, he's just playing a guy who's playing Worf. But it's so funny because it actually is Michael Dorn. Rants from Canada. Either way, they'll say that Cheers no longer exists to keep someone else from using it in an unrelated show. Or it'll be a backdoor for Burroughs to spin off a new Cheers story around Norm. Spin-off. I'm going on with spin-off. With the way things are going, where they're only making things people have heard of before, everything needs name recognition because there's so much stuff out there. There's too much stuff out there. All the name recognizable stuff is being rebooted just because people already have heard of it. So it gets instant recognition, and more of a likelihood people will check it out. I'm going with spin-off. Cheers is a perfect revival show. Many of the original cast, with the exception of some really sad things that have happened even recently, much of the cast is still there. They're still showing up and stuff. They're still working. I'm voting Cheers spin-off. And also, he's not going to do streaming. I'm sure it's going to be a podcast. That just seems how they would go, a podcast. And he doesn't understand podcasts at first, so he's thrown in there, fish out of water. They're making him do a podcast, and that'll bring some humor. Old guy learning about the new stuff type of situation. I could write it. I could write you an episode right now if you'd like. They're going to be sad because the dad passed away or something like that, so that'll come up. Will his brother be in it? I can't remember his name. I used to know his name. I think he's a 3-named guy. Loved the character. What, Niles? Loved that character. Will he show up? Archmage for a quick pitch. Cheers was forced to close during COVID. Boom. But now Norm, with a quirky group of investors, plans to reopen the old Boston landmark. Ooh, I like it, because also it's a bringing the band back together storyline. People love a bringing the band back together story. Love it. I'm all about it. I would love it if the cast of Always Sunny in Philadelphia decide they want to move to Boston and reopen a bar and reopen the Cheers bar. Yeah, Norm's never going to change. Always remember the cold open where the guy came back to Cheers after 20 years and said how everything had changed except Norm. One thing about Norm, everybody knows his name. David Hyde Pierce. That's exactly it. I think Fraser is working at the university. David Hyde Pierce does not want to play Niles again. Yeah, I heard there was some, not with the reboot years ago. I heard there was some bad blood. I don't remember what any of it was. I don't even know if I looked into it that far. Usually I'll read a headline. I'm like, oh, that's none of my business, and we'll just move on. But yeah, I do remember something. They're always glad he came. That's what she said. Or he said. 2023. I like that. With Cheers, bringing the band back together. That'd be a great one. I'm trying to figure out when to watch Violent Night. I don't know if any of you guys seen it before. It's that really awesome looking action Santa Claus movie. It's on Peacock. It looks great. It looks fun. I just feel weird about watching a Santa Claus movie in February. What other shows should we bring back? Fuller House was fun for one episode for me, just to see an update. But once I got the update, I'm like, I don't need to watch this. But I know a lot of people enjoyed it. Canceled, because that's what Netflix does. Should we bring back... it'd have to be a whole new cast. Almost all new cast, but Different Strokes was a fun one. The world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you? I bet you they bring back Facts of Life. That's easy to do. You just have it so that Blair is now the den mother at the school or whatever, or candy shop now. I don't even know what they're doing. And there's a whole new set of girls. I bet you they do that. Mark says Violent Night was very, very fun to watch. It looks fun, and I like that dude, the Stranger Things dude. He was also in Black Widow and a bunch of other things. He's coming out in a new Netflix. I think it's a movie called We Have a Ghost, where he plays a ghost haunting a house, and they discover him, and then they become friends with him, the ghost, and they start having adventures together and doing fun-looking stuff. We'll have to see how that goes. The Prisoner. Oh, The Prisoner. A Fox show, right? Didn't they try to bring that back once? Not very long later. X-Files, I think, would do well. The Prisoner was a huge show. I watched a few of the first episodes when it first came out, and then, I don't know, I was at that age where I was going outside and doing stuff. So I didn't really watch much of it, but I did follow the fact that people were into that show. Sliders, yeah, obviously Sliders. That one is ripe for a reboot, and the formula can always be adapted in wonderful ways. And I like shows like that where it's a truly different situation every week. Obviously Sliders, but if we are talking sitcoms, I say Home Improvement. Ooh. Tim could be doing YouTube videos for Home Improvement. He could have a YouTube show. I wouldn't watch it. I don't think I'd watch it, and I watched and enjoyed Home Improvement back in the day. Teppo says Stargate 1 with a new team, old team as the admin. There's always there's always talk of a new Stargate. I believe there's talk right now of a new Stargate. I say give Firefly a fair chance. It got screwed. Fox screwed it. Blackadder. Oh, The Prisoners was a trippy 60s show. Oh, I'm thinking Prison Break. Prison Break. Well, in my previous life, I used to watch The Prisoner. That was my favorite show. I loved it so much, I cosplayed as a prisoner and snuck into a jail. Yes, The Prisoner. I have heard of that. People have talked about that before. But yeah, I was thinking Prison Break. I instantly went back to the 90s. Was that in the 90s or was that early 2000s? I don't know. Firefly, yes. Firefly is a great universe to bring back. That barely got a fair shake at it. Though they did get a movie, which that usually doesn't happen. And I love the Firefly movie. And I love that the Firefly movie, Serenity, you didn't have to have watched the show to enjoy the movie. Rance says, my only request with Cheers is we get the full opening theme. the Cheers opening itself was a work of art. Where everybody knows your name. And also, that's tough because the Cheers theme is a full-on experience. It's a video in itself. It's probably a minute and a half, like theme songs used to be back in the day, which no show does anymore because audience can't take it anymore because they all got TikTok brain. It's like how, all music nowadays, all hit songs nowadays start with the chorus, where they used to start with the intro and the first verse. And sometimes songs are nothing but a chorus. It's the chorus. Now it's the chorus opened up a little bit. Now it's the chorus in a different key. That's TV shows. Lost made it where you don't even have an intro. It just says Lost. So what would they do nowadays? I wonder. Maybe they'll have a really short theme at the beginning, where everybody knows your name. Da-dun. And then maybe they'll save the full theme for the credits sequence at the end of the episode. New Knight Rider with Kia. I remember they did a new Knight Rider, probably on UPN or CW or something. I don't think it went over well. I would love it, but you got to get the feel. See, a lot of reboots back in the day that were canceled, it's because they didn't try to capture the original tone. Nowadays, all these reboots, I really do see them putting effort into recapturing the tone of the original. And then just, adding some new references, updated references to them. I wonder, I would love to see a Knight Rider, but they gotta make me feel it's gotta be a road trip thing. It's gotta have a lot of scenes at the Universal backlot. And I have to be able to say, oh, that's the Universal backlot, because that was part of my enjoyment of watching, or wherever they filmed it. It looked like Universal, like A-Team did the same thing. I got to be able to point out the studio stuff. I had a lot of fun doing that while watching the original Knight Rider. Peacemaker proved there are still audience for openings if they are done well. Yeah, if a theme song, if an opening blows people's minds, they'll do them. Peacemaker has probably one of my most favorite intros in the last 25 years. And man, they played that whole thing every single episode. And I never skipped, and I never will. And when they bring Peacemaker back, I'm going to make sure I watch the intro, not only during the episode, but I'm going to replay it after I'm done with the episode. Because they got the best damn intro. I'm sure they'll refilm it for season 2, because the intro incorporates the story of the season within it. So we'll have a new story in season 2, so I'm sure they'll have a whole new intro, but of the same tone. Knight Rider reboot with Hasselhoff, him just fighting tickets for multiple DUIs. And eating hamburgers off the floor. Man, I loved Hasselhoff. I saw Hasselhoff once at the mall, and I was just like, oh my God, there's David Hasselhoff. That's my Knight Rider. Trip's death can be hand waved away in Lower Decks episode. Deanna, it's kind of unhealthy how you kill off random historical characters in your holodeck programs. Yup. I still believe Trip's death didn't necessarily happen. I just think the holodeck program was giving Will the story that it thought Will needed. Oh, I never checked my phone. Hold on. She probably thinks I'm dead. I have to check it silently, you guys. Oh, cool. I also got some cool emails. Does anyone need a deal on hearing aid? You need a hearing aid deal? They got 25% off. Let's see here. A lot of missed phone calls I don't care about. Robots. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. She was just liking something I posted earlier. Let me double check. Yep. We're good, you guys. Life, am I right? Go away, phone. Don't make me use you as a weapon against people trying to toxify our fandoms. I made you go for your phone. Nighthawk reboot with drones. Drones or drones? Drones. Yeah, I don't believe Trip is dead. I think that holodeck was just giving Will the story that he needed to hear, to learn the lesson that he needed to hear so he can speak up. Yeah, Trip got the worst deal of any of the cast. There's just no reason to kill him off. Enterprise would be great. I would love Enterprise. At least give us 3 seasons of Enterprise. The cast is still around. They all look great, which will always be the case for Captain Archer. They're all around. They all look great. Then most of them are working. We just got to convince Jolene Blaylock probably a little bit, but he's probably just money might not even work with her. I think she's already married a rich dude. All day long they bitty bitty bong, and but hey, I would love it. Enterprise would be absolutely perfect for me. I wonder what the toxicity people will say once an announcement is made, because then they're going to say, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, even though there hasn't been a single thing written yet, and they'll be complaining about it, and then the little kids will come along and start thinking that's truth, and little kids are susceptible to adult opinions, and now they're going to hate everything, and they're going to teach their kids to hate everything, and it never gets filmed. But they had so much to complain about. Never gets written, never gets filmed. Chuck A, what's going on? TNG fanatic. Hey JP, good to see you, Chuck. Glad you're here. Glad you made it. I was interested to see who was going to make it here with me trying to do a stream so early in the day. And so far, this has been an amazing conversation. I am going to have to cut it off here. It's been 2 hours. I'm glad you made it, Chuck, but you missed out on most of the ramblings that I've been spewing out here. I'm very interested in checking out episode 4 of The Last of Us this Sunday. I'm so hard up to watch more of The Last of Us, new episodes of The Last of Us. This one's going to be crazy. And I only know that because what I've seen in the trailer, I remember from the game, and we're going to have some full-on fights going on. I don't know if the characters, they probably are, that we're going up against are as dastardly as in the game. They probably are, but I am excited to learn more about the live-action universe of The Last of Us. I hope you guys aren't missing out, unless you just know that's not your type of thing. I totally understand that, but if it is your type of thing, don't miss out. Totally worth it. I know Pranakasha says just spray positivity spray upon them. I already tried it. The cops were called in. They said I was going a little too far, and one of those dudes will never be able to see again. So I have to stay away from that type of stuff. I have to keep it positive, keep it light, keep it fun, and maybe slap around a little bit every once in a while. But mostly we're just going to be having fun, lifting up the things that we love, discovering new things to love and get excited about, maybe cosplay about. And we're going to be doing it here all week long throughout the next many weeks. But guys, I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for joining me this morning, helping me start my day off right. I hope your days are able to be started off right today as well, and that you have a great day. And I'll see you guys very soon. And remember, we all do better when we all do better. Love you. Bye-bye. I got to find the right button. There's a button. It goes off.